Here we are. Welcome to Don Cornish Field here at the Essendon Baseball Club. The penultimate day of the Under-18 Australian Youth National Championships here in beautiful Melbourne, Victoria. First things first, how did we get here? With a very exciting Under-16 championship game yesterday, though must say that New South Wales pulled away from Victoria through the game. As the commentator Eric Balnar said, they saw the sunset and started riding to it. The key there was a 7-run sixth inning. Pitching well, the golden arm for the tournament was Jack Fegan. Noah Nash was the MVP of the tournament. He made a diving catch and threw 2 innings to close. The golden glove was Dan Price. And Buzz Meacham was the golden bat from Queensland. That happened earlier, but how did we get to this game today? Well, yesterday, WA took care of WA took care of South Australia by a score of 10-1. Dylan Bandy threw 6 innings, giving up only 6 hits, walking 2 and striking out 4, only giving up 1 run. It was earned. On the other side of the coin, Victoria beat New South Wales by a score of 9-2 on the back of a 4-run 5th inning. The key there in particular was Liam Puncher, who threw 5 innings, giving up only 3 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, no earned runs. They scored 2, but none of them were earned. Marcus Murphy threw an inning of relief. Brody Stokes played well for the Victorians with 3 hits and 2 RBIs. Harrison Brody had 2 hits and 3 RBIs with a double. Cooper Bishop-Warren had 2 hits. Roman Coote had 2 hits. Riley Shanks had a hit and 2 RBIs, and Mitch Langworthy had a double. On the other side, of course, as we alluded to, Dylan Bandy threw 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts, 1 run that was earned. Thomas William had 2 hits and 2 RBIs and a double. Carlton Branch had a hit, 2 walks, and 2 RBIs, also a double. Leonard Golding doubled and had 2 RBIs. And, of course, Ita Sakamura had a home run over the center field fence and played some elite defense. Now you'll see the Western Australians are taking the field. We'll give you their defensive alignment. Carlton Branch from South Perth is in left. Harry Wooden from the Wanneroo Giants is in center. In right, Thomas Williams from the Morley Eagles. Around the infield at third base, we got 3 Wanneroo Giants in the infield, starting with Cooper Barber at third, Quinn Fatai at second base, and Chance Bensman at first. And then from the Korean Cats, the aforementioned Ita Sakamura from Kareen. Behind the plate is Cameron Barr from the Morley Eagles, and on the mound is Lewin Van Splunder from the Melville Braves. So far in the tournament, Van Splunder's thrown 2.2 innings and not given up any earned runs. Sorry, he's given up 6 earned runs. I need to write more neatly onto my notebook. Now the batting lineup for the visiting Victorians. Leading off and playing third base is Cooper Bishop-Warren. Batting second in right field is Brady Stokes. Batting third and playing shortstops, Jake Bertucci. Batting fourth, the first baseman, Mitch Langworthy. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, Sam Walk. Batting sixth, the center fielder, Ryan Coote. In the 7-hole, left fielder, Riley Shanks. Batting eighth, the catcher, Lachlan Brennan. And batting ninth, playing second base, Harrison Brody. Of course, WA the 1 seed, Victoria the 2 seed, and really what it came down to in their previous matchup was a 10-9 game that WA took with 1 run in the 6th and final inning of that game. So really we're talking about a 1-run difference as the difference between the 1 seed and the 2 seed here in the tournament. WA now in the 7-0 record, Vic at 5-2, but they'd actually have equal records, and Vic would be the higher seed if they would have beaten the Western Australians, but they did not. And so WA is the 1 seed and the home team here at this moment as we get ready to play this qualifying final of these 2 teams that won their initial final game yesterday as Cooper Bishop-Warren steps to the plate against Lewin Van Splender for WA. And he kicks and delivers, throws strike 1. as called by home plate umpire Mark Stone. By the way, our umpires today, Mark Stone behind the plate, Peter Phelps on the first base side, and Pat White on the third base side. Ground ball. Sakamura, great defense the whole tournament, doesn't disappoint there. Catch throw on the run over to Chance Bensman at first for the first out of the inning. And with one away, that'll bring up from the Essendon Baseball Club, playing on his home field, the right fielder, Brody Stokes. Stokes has a .524 average on the tournament. And I should have mentioned Bishop Warren is batting .632 in the tournament, trailing only Sakamura, who just threw him out at short. Stokes to face Van Splunders. Nice pitch in the outside corner. Nice relaxed call from Mark Stone. You like to see that from an umpire, not getting too excited too early. This is about the players, not the umpires. Nice to see them settling in. Chases one up, falls behind 0-2. The local Essendon Bomber batting on his home field today. Nice glove work behind the plate by Cameron Barr. He's done a good job here through the tournament. Actually, two nice catchers with the W18. The other one being young Monty Smith, who actually was a key guy when these two teams faced off last time. Gets him on the inside corner, swinging through for strike three, and with two away for the visiting Victorians, that'll bring up the shortstop. Boy, he made a nice diving play over the middle in the game yesterday. That'll bring up from the Moorabbin Baseball Club, batting .227 in the tournament thus far, Jake Bertucci. Has a good cut. His older brother, Nick, of course, has played for the Melbourne Aces. And the way Jake is flashing the leather in this tournament, you wouldn't be surprised to see him there someday, too. Just off the end of the bat, skies it into the outfield, kind of in that dangerous triangle. Who's going to get it? Quinn Fatai does a nice job of tracking that one down. And Van Splunders gets out of it 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base for Victoria. Western Australia coming up to hit. Welcome back here in the bottom of the first inning in the qualifying final. The winner here goes straight to the grand final, as we say in Australia, or the championship game tomorrow. Let's give you your defensive alignment for the Victorians. We have Riley Shanks from Essendon in left, playing on his home field. Roman Coote from Williamstown in center. In right, we have Brody Stokes, also on his home field here in Essendon. Across the infield, we've got Cooper Bishop Warren at third, Jake Bertucci, Bishop Warren from Werribee. From Moorabbin at short, we have Jake Bertucci. At second base, Harrison Brody, also from the Moorabbin Baseball Club. Again from Moorabbin at first, Mitch Langworthy. Behind the plate, Lachlan Brennan from the Melbourne Baseball Club. And from the Geelong Bay Cats, it's Riley Peoples. Peoples has pitched 5 innings over 2 starts, given up 2 runs, 1 of them earned. 5 runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts as Itai Sakamura steps to the plate. Sakamura swings through for strike one. He's hitting 400 on the tournament, but the big number here is he's in a tie for the lead of home runs with 3 and a 1,500 slugging percentage. One of the guys to watch here in the tournament. Just low, that'll even the count at 1-1. Sakamura hit that home run to center in the first final yesterday. Peoples just misses on the outside corner to run the count to 2-1. And that'll even the count at 2-2. As we said, Sakamura hit his third home run yesterday over the center field fence. And by the way, he's tied for the home run lead with Sam Galpin of South Australia, who we'll see later today, on 3 homers. 2-2 count here. And Peoples records his first strikeout of the game. And with 1 away from the Wanneroo Giants, that'll bring up Quinn Fatai. Watch this pitch on the outer half. Nice off-speed pitch. Couldn't wait back long enough to drive it the other way. You couldn't ask for a much better pitch. It's a little bit off the zone, but you got to be swinging there to protect with 2 strikes. That'll bring up Quinn Fatai from the Wanneroo Giants. Fatai fouls off the first pitch. He's also hit quite well in the tournament with a .538 batting average here at this late juncture. That's good enough for 5th on the ladder of best averages here at the event. Fatai, of course, playing second base today. Looks like he checked that swing. They are going to ask. Peter Phelps over at first base indicates what we probably all saw with our own eyes, that he didn't quite swing at that. That's going to even the count at 1-1 to Fatai. Nice pick behind the plate by Brennan. Catchers quietly make a difference in these tournaments. Look forward to seeing how these 2 young men do today. Is that going to sit down? Just foul down the line. Nice piece of hitting, but as it stands, just a long strike, and at 1-2, Peoples is in the driver's seat. Nice off-speed pitch, good effort behind the plate by Brennan to keep it in front of him. In a world full of flashy picks, you got to love it when a catcher just gets right down to his knees and gets down to business to keep the ball in front. Looks like a way. Are we going to see a fastball here on the outer half? Indeed we did. Fatai was ready for it. Continues to hit above 500 as he raises that .538 average with a single on that fastball. And with 1 away, that'll bring up the catch. Speaking of catchers, the pride of the Morley Eagles, Cameron Barr, hitting .412 on the tournament. And WA trying to put something together here early. Nice pitch in the outside corner. Peoples gets ahead 0-1. Of course, in the under-16s, we saw so many stolen bases by New South Wales. And Fatai's got a bit of a lead there. Makes you wonder what he's thinking about there, too. Peoples misses high, evens it up at 1-1. As we mentioned earlier, the seeding in this tournament came down to really 1 run late when these 2 teams faced off a few days ago. Ground ball, Brody grabs it, makes the smart play over to 1. Just a little bit too far to his left to have a shot at turning the double play. And in the end, it turns into a productive out for Cameron Barr, and puts a runner in scoring position. You'll see that here. Just not enough time. Maybe if it was hit a little bit harder, he could actually pivot and throw to second, but really that's slow enough that his only choice was to go to first base. But it does advance the runner Fatai to second base, and that brings up Thomas Williams with 2 away and a runner in scoring position. Peoples just misses with the, oh no, late call by Mark Stone. Fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. Williams hitting .462 on the tournament, and looking to get WA on the board here early. Swings through that fastball. Now you want to be careful here with the cleanup hitter. You don't want to give him anything too good 0-2. He's going to be protecting. You may want to miss off the plate with a fastball to set up the curveball, but we'll see what they're attempting here. A little bit too much of the plate there, and Peoples got lucky. A hitter like Thomas Williams could have hit that a long way, and there's a lot of space in that outfield today with everyone playing so deep. But the count remains 0-2. And perhaps he's going to mix it up here with something else. He's shown him 3 fastballs. And there is the curveball to miss. He's got a couple choices on how to follow that up. He could come with it again and see if he bites. Either come in on the hands with the fastball or just be a little bit off the plate with the fastball in the outside corner. Again, to see if he'll chase. Looks like he's setting up away. Fastball drifted over to the plate a little bit up, and he couldn't quite get the handle on it. And Peoples still in the driver's seat at 1-2. Again, Peoples has already started 2 games in the event, so he's comfortable in the starting role. And again, he's only given up 2 runs and only 1 of them earned. Good control as well. Not a walk in 5 innings of work thus far. There's that curveball again. That's strike 3. Peoples records his 2nd strikeout of the inning, his 4th strikeout of the tournament. And boy, folks, it looks like we have a dandy here for the WA team. Look at that curveball. Froze him after all those fastballs. He only shown it once earlier in the at-bat. Williams couldn't quite get around on a number of fastballs, and eventually Peoples got him with the curveball. And that leaves a runner of scoring position, Quinn Fatai for WA. No runs on 1 hit, 1 left on base. We are through 1. This is a good game. Stay tuned, folks. Okay, welcome back. We got a good game. Remember, we're playing on essentially a 2-hour time limit. No new inning after 2 hours and 5. We do have the run rules in place. Most notably, no team can score more than 7 runs in an inning, so that plays into strategy a little bit. You certainly don't want to fall too far behind and leave it till too late. But looks like we're not going to have that issue just yet. We've got a heck of a game going so far. Pitchers are dominant early as Mitch Langworthy from Rabin steps in to start the 2nd. And Splunder misses away. Up and in. Langworthy hitting .429 on the tournament. decorated young ball player himself. As he gets ahead 2-0. He's been away in the Australian under-16 camp and the Australian under-16 trip to the U.S. And I've had a chance to, as he fouls that off, to run the count to 2-1. I've had the chance to come across him from time to time as a younger player. His mother also and his brother also very involved in the baseball scene. Passionate young player, committed, that's for sure. Nice piece on the outside corner. Foul ball is called by Pat White over on the third base side, umpire Pat White. Again, Mark Stone behind the plate, Peter Phelps on the first base side, and Pat White on the third base side today in our umpiring crew. That evens the count to 2-2 on Langworthy. Langworthy doubled yesterday and had a couple of hits against these guys when they met off during the round robin play. Just missed that one. That's going to sit up in the air for Carlton Branch from the South Perth Club as he camps under it for the first out of the inning. I bet Langworthy, he got his pitch there at 2-2. I bet he wishes he had another swing at that one. He just missed it. And indeed, Branch, as you watch here, Branch isn't we are playing at Don Cornish Field, as you can see in the upper left-hand corner. Not sure if Don's going to block us out. Of course, Don, Yep, we don't see it there, but he's only a few feet off the warning track. So Langworthy just missed it. And that'll bring up third highest batting average in the tournament from the Doncaster. Sorry, we just got a question here. I'm not sure what the umpires are going to discuss. We'll just see how this all plays out as head coach Marshall Skinner from the Victorians makes the query. As we're waiting on that, we've got Sam Walk about to step up to the plate for the Victorians. Walk hitting .600 on the tournament, and if memory serves, that's about the third highest average we've seen so far, just behind his teammate Cooper Bishop Warren. Not sure what the concern was there. Ooh, it looks like I'm just hearing the scuttlebutt here in the booth. As I see number 41 step up for the Victorians, looks like we might have a bit of a change. Now, the rule, I know what Marshall Skinner is querying. In the official baseball rules, the designated hitter must come to the plate to bat once when they've been listed in the lineup. So you can't pinch hit for the designated hitter, at least in traditional baseball rules. Forgive me, I have to dig in a bit deeper to this DH rule. But in the traditional rules of baseball, the DH must bat once when he's been listed on the lineup card. So this would not be potentially a legal substitution. Forgive me, my internet is not currently working, so I can't quite dig into the DH rule as it's being played here in the event. But again, what I think certainly what Marshall Skinner's query is the query there is you can't, sorry, I should say this again. What the umpire's query there is, and checking with the tournament director, is that the DH must actually bat once when they're listed in the lineup. So Skinner hoping to make the change. Up here, we're not sure if he can. As I mentioned, Sam Walk's about to step up to the plate. He's from the Doncaster Baseball Club. He played here in the AYCs last year at the under-18 level and also participated in the under-16s in 2024. And previously before that as well. Besides playing in the DH spot, he also catches. And we're going to find out if he needs to come to the plate. But at the very least, we had a chance to give some recognition to Sam Walk. So it looks like we do have a substitution here. And that would be Cooper Bush stepping to the plate. Cooper Bush. So, Sam Walk, we hardly knew you. I presume there's possibly an injury situation there, which would lead, the third leading hitter in the tournament to not be coming to the plate. And Cooper Bush is going to step in and take his at-bat. And Bush quickly strikes the ball. It's going to hang up there for the infielder. Second baseman Quinn Fatai again makes a not so simple catch as he did to end the previous inning. And that at bat goes in the books, as we said, for Cooper Bush. Now batting as the DH. As you see, Fatai there, a little easier than his last catch on Bertucci to end the inning. But we have two away here, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Ryan Coote from the Williamstown Baseball Club. Coote hitting .353 on the tournament. Ooh, a rare defensive miscue from Aita Sakamura. We'll see that on the replay. It's a bit of an in-between hop and hit hard enough that he couldn't charge it to make his own hop. He just simply had to take what he got off the turf. You'll see here in the replay. And unfortunately, it didn't go his way. If memory serves, he was potentially perfect in the tournament defensively without looking at my notes. And yeah, there's an error on the shortstop. And that gives a bit of life to the Victorian team as Riley Shanks, the left fielder, steps in, playing here at his home ground at Essendon, and swings through for strike one. Boy, it's been an interesting day here as we drove up to the ballpark. I believe we're... Scores, are we 0-2? Runner in motion, ball lifted in the air. It's not going to be a chance for the catcher, Cameron Barr. And that puts Shanks in the hole with a 1-2 count. This is Shanks' second year in the AYCs in the under-18s. As he takes a curveball in the dirt to even the count. If we didn't mention it before, he's hitting .375 on the tournament. And you gotta love when you get to play in games like these at your home ground. And it is a beautiful home ground here in Essendon with the turf recently renewed in recent years. It looks fantastic. Fastball just misses to run the count full with 2 away. Coote will be in motion. And that means he's definitely scoring on a double as long as it doesn't bounce over the fence. Runner in motion. Throw is irrelevant as the strikeout ends the inning. Second strikeout on the game for Lewin Van Splendor. For the Victorians, no runs on no hits. 1 left on base. We're in the middle of 2. We've got a dandy, folks, and no score. We're just talking about this wonderful community baseball club here at Essendon Don Cornish Field. If memory serves, father of longtime Essendon president Tony Cornish. And it's club baseball. It's about building community here, and it's a great time to join the Australian baseball community. Participation rates are up over 11% over the last 2 years. It shows me here even 22% year on year just in October. And our retention rates in baseball are above industry standards. Whether you're 7 or 77, a seasoned professional, or no idea how to hold a bat or ball, the baseball community welcomes you. And that's really the key here. Is we kind of went through that long COVID time, and a lot of us are still a little bit isolated on our screens. Get out to play baseball, not just for your body, not just to get active, but it's a sport that everyone can play so that you can build community and relationships and find yourself a place in this world. Join baseball, use You can find your club using Club Finder on baseball.com.au. And speaking of baseball, that's going to bring to the plate the left fielder from South Perth, Carlton Branch. Branch, Golding, and Barber due up for WA here in the bottom of the second. Barber takes People's first offering of the inning away, fastball away for ball one. And you want to be careful with Branch here today. Fastball on the outer corner. You notice they're not, even though he's leading off, they're being awfully careful. Branch is hitting .698 on the tournament. That leads, by far, leads everyone else. So you want to be careful. This is a guy tipped to get on base. As he fouls it off, runs a count to 2-1. Branch not only has a .698 batting average, he's got a 1250 slugging percentage, as they're being real careful keeping the ball away. So he's not only hitting for average, he's hitting for power. He might not have 3 homers like his teammate Sakamura, but he does have 5 doubles and 3 triples. Wow, they were careful, and they stayed away, and they got him with that off-speed pitch that just nipped the outside corner, giving Mark Stone the excuse to call it. What a beautiful pitch by Peoples. And by the way, folks, that might have looked a little off the plate through the monitor here. Please notice that we are adjacent to the right by a fair bit. Oh, Peoples follows up the curveball with a get-me-over curveball for strike one to the designated hitter who will bat in his spot today, Leonard Golding from the Melville Braves. He's hitting .444 on the tournament. And he falls behind 0-2, called there on the swing. Peoples already has 3 strikeouts, and he's 1 pitch away from a 4th. Good miss away there. You don't want to give in or give him anything too good. Golding had a hit yesterday and a couple RBIs, and that was a double, so another quality hitter here at the plate. Oh, and he gets him with the curveball. Peoples has struck out more than half the batters he's faced today. He struck out 4 of the 6 batters he's faced for the 5 outs he's gotten so far. Only a single to date. And that'll bring up the third baseman, featuring from the Wanneroo Giants. Number 58, Cooper Barber, steps in. And Peoples is just dealing it. Oh, did they call that high? That could have been called right on the edge. You saw Stone motion there just a little bit up. Again, cool as a cucumber, exactly what you want behind the plate in such a game such as this. A huge advantage to the team that wins, straight through to the grand final. As Peoples is going to that curveball again for the strike. When you can throw your curveball over for a strike at will, in fastball counts, in off counts, it's a tremendous advantage. And there he throws it again. And 1 pitch strikeout from a 3 strikeout inning, 1 pitch away from a 3 strikeout inning. 1-2. Maybe he'll mix it up here with the fastball on the outer half off the plate to set up his next curveball. And he does, intentionally misses. He was not throwing that fastball for a strike, but you can almost bet your bottom dollar he's going to come with another one of those off-speed pitches here to try to sit down Barber. Surely he does. Barber was ready for it and fouls it off. I would say, just talking like the old catcher that I am, I might, if the way Peoples is spotting the ball here early, I might come with a fastball in on the hands, but he's moving away. Let's see if he's going to go off speed again. And he does. Luckily, no swing there as that bounces over the catcher, Brennan, to the backstop, and that's a full count. You think he might come with a fastball here, only in so much as he's thrown so many curveballs through the at-bat that you just need to go after him, that he's probably sitting on the curveball, Barber is. And sure enough, there's the fastball, and Barber couldn't catch up to it in that instance. And what that does really well there, too, is like Barber doesn't know what's coming next. Is it a fastball? Is it a curveball? Peoples is spotting the plate really well. I might call the curveball just because you've got Barber off balance, and Peoples has been dominant with his curveball here early as he goes for his 3rd strikeout. And he does, and the curveball, and Barber stays alive. And much credit to Barber there. He's only hitting 278 on the event, but he's showing a really gutsy at-bat right there. If you can keep fouling those pitches off, you got a chance at a walk if Peoples misses, or if he throws you a cookie, you got a shot at a hit. Are we going to come with a fastball in on the hands? That's about the only place that Peoples hasn't gone in this at-bat, a fastball in the hands, and if he does, I don't think Barber's going to catch up. Oh, left it over the plate. Branch, it gets down in front of Shanks. Barber's going to have at least a double, and he's going to motor on to 3. Relay from Bertucci into 3rd. Not in time as Bishop Warren applies the tag. Pat White on the call, safe. And this gets back to what a good at-bat that Barber had. You saw he fouled off a number of pitches to give himself a chance, and then as Peoples looks to go inside for the first time in the at-bat, he throws it, puts it right over the plate, makes the mistake. Barber stayed alive to see that mistake, and here he is on 3rd, and instead of a 3-strikeout inning, all of a sudden WA is threatening to take the lead here in the bottom of the 2nd. Harry Wooden from Wanneroo steps in. And he's right on that fastball, but fouls it off to fall behind 0-1. Wooden hitting .313 on the event, playing a good center field through the tournament. Folks, I hope you're settled in and paying attention to this one. We are seeing some great baseball early. Nice fastball just off the plate. Now he's thrown him 2 fastballs here, and he's not been afraid to throw the curveball for a strike. We got a 1-1 count. I'm expecting a curveball here. Sure enough, good job behind the plate by Brennan to keep it in front. Of course, you get a little nervous there about throwing the curveball with a runner on first, and they did start with 2 fastballs. But Brennan's done a nice job to keep that in front. You've got to smother that ball. No picking it, just keep it in front to save the run. Fastball misses, 3-1. Now you got the number 9 hitter on deck. Look, Ben Smith's hitting .333 to Wooden's .313, but a 3-1 count really is in the batter's favor. I'd like to see Peoples throw a curveball here and not give him something too good to hit. Comes with the fastball, but hit hard. Everything going well for Wooden until Harrison Brody makes the catch. Ooh, Peoples played with danger there, throwing that fastball down the pipe instead of the curveball. Wooden was sitting on it. He hammers it. But sometimes it's a little bit better to be lucky than good. In this case, the Victorians a bit lucky as Harrison Brody is there. Folks, for the Victorians, for WA, no runs on 1 hit, 1 left on base. We are through 2 complete with the 2 best teams so far in this tournament, giving us a real blinder. Settle in and enjoy this baseball, folks. You don't see games like this every day. We'll be back just after this. And we're back. The catcher, Lachlan Brendan, stepping in for his first at-bat. Of course, he had that nice block with the runner on 3rd on Peoples' curveball in the dirt. Now he's stepping to the plate to see what he can do in the offensive side. As Van Splunder misses high for ball 1. Fastball just missed it, fouls it back to even the count at 1-1. If my research is correct, this is Brennan's first AYC here at the under 18 level. Good for him, though. He has made Little League Nationals with the Twins charter in 2020. Gets a bat on that. Not going to be too difficult for Thomas Williams out of Morley in right field to record the first out of the inning. And with one away, that brings up, you see that just a little bit off the end of the bat, just a little bit off the plate. He kind of had to reach to get it, so you could see his butt was out a little bit, and he just wasn't in a power position to really drive that pitch, and that's why it was just really an easy can of corn for Thomas Williams in right field. And with with one away, that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, second baseman Harrison Brody, who caught that hard line drive to end the inning. Brody tries to hit a hard one himself, but he just fouls it off. Not going to be quite enough room there at the fence for Chase Benson out of Wanneroo. Maybe could have caught it, but he was a step away from the fence, and quite frankly, we'd rather see that ball drop than see a collision with the fence. Not his home ballpark like some of these guys from Essendon. And discretion was perhaps the better part of valor there as he held up. One strike. Now 2 as Van Splunders gets the curveball over to Brody. Brody takes the curveball outside. I believe we're at 1-2 on the count. Brody's played in the AYCs last year at the under 16 level or qualified, or was selected but didn't play due to injury, and he played in the 16s as well. A lot of junior league and intermediate league nationals for this young man too. As he drives that's going to carry a little bit. It sends Branch back to the fence. Back. Branch can't quite get a hold of it. Brody doubles off the wall with 1 out. Boy, if he had had 1 more Wheat Bix for breakfast, that would have been over the fence. But I think he's happy with the double, and you got to love it when your number 9 hitter packs that kind of punch in his first year as a first-year under 18, and you could see the happiness in his face as he plopped that ball off the fence. Just 1 more biscuit for breakfast. Hits at the base of the fence as Victoria turns around the lineup, and Cooper Bishop Warren, the number 2 batting average hitter in the tournament, steps to the plate. Warren grounded out to Sakimura at short to open the first. Now he's hoping to drive in a run here in the the top of the 3rd. Van Splunders just misses on the outside corner. We have a 2-0 count. Fastball just misses high. Now here's your quandary here. You've got first base open. You've got 1 away. Yes, you've got another good hitter coming up, but here's the best hitter in the tournament. Do you really? Now probably he's going to be taking because it's junior baseball, right? You got the best batting average, by batting average, the best hitter in the tournament at the plate. You don't want to give him anything too good here. Misses with the fastball. Didn't miss by much, but you're not going to fret about that too much, because this probably wasn't the guy you wanted to face with a runner at second base. Now you have the double play in order. Stokes has struck out last time. Stokes batting here at his home ballpark here at Essendon, of course. Barr takes the trip. Stone breaks it up, and that's good. A quick game is a good game, and that's what we're seeing here, some really well-played baseball. Strategically, it really didn't hurt WA to walk Bishop Warren there, but what happens next with Brody Stokes is going to tell the tale. The double play is in order, chance to drive in a run. And he comes with the fastball, and Stokes swings through it. Probably wouldn't mind having that pitch back, but he was just a little bit late on that fastball. Van Splunders thrown his curveball for a strike as well today. Not as dominant as Peoples, but not a bad spot here to try to induce a ground ball with an off-speed pitch, and that looks to be his grip. Certainly it is. He gets a swing through for strike 2. Now look, at the end of the day, you wouldn't mind trying to set up for a strikeout here. Probably you want to go fastball away and then come back either with a fastball in the hands if you're trying to get a double play, or a curveball if you're trying to go for the strikeout. For the moment, they're going to miss with a fastball off the plate, I would expect. Now another off speed in the dirt, and he gets a strikeout right away at 0-2. Well pitched. Van Splunders is efficient. Barr not afraid to block a ball in the dirt, and suddenly that's 1, 2, 3 strikeouts for Van Splunder, and he's 1 out away of getting out of this inning with 2 runners on. Look at this, another one of his off-speed pitches. And I'm going to have to confess, that didn't look like a traditional curve. That had some tremendous movement on it. Perhaps it was a changeup in that instance. Surprising an 0-2, but very effective. You notice just by his arm angle too, I should mention that brings up the shortstop, Jake Bertucci, coming into today hitting .227 on the event. One thing that you look at Van Splunders with what I think was that changeup on 0-2, and certainly that fastball, he's got that little bit lower arm angle with his right arm, and that's going to cause these balls to kind of drift into the right-handed hitter. Wow, 0-2. Going for his 2nd strikeout on the inning and his 4th strikeout on the day. That'd be something after that double to get out of it with 2 strikeouts. But that's exactly what big-time pitchers do in big-time events, and that's what this moment certainly is. Misses with the fastball. Smart move at 1-2. Puts you in position to jam him on the hands, but I think he may stay away and try to go either with that change or a curveball off speed here in order to get the strikeout or induce the ground ball. But I don't think we'll see a fastball here. Indeed, change up, drifts in, gets the strikeout. Barr throws down to first just to be sure. 4th strikeout, 2nd of the inning. Van Splunders steps up big time as Victoria cannot score with the 1-out double by Brody. Brody left on 2nd. Bishop Warren left on 1st. For Victoria, no runs on 1 hit, 2 left on base. We're in the middle of 3. Look at that changeup. We got a good game here, folks. Stay tuned. All right, Lachlan Brennan fires the final warm-up pitch down to 2nd. That'll bring up the final man who has not batted yet in this ball game out of Wanneroo, hitting .333 in the tournament. The first baseman, Chase Benson, steps in against Riley Peoples. As Peoples hits that outside corner, a dominant pitching performance by this young man. If you're just tuning in, 1, 2, 3, 4 strikeouts. Stranded a couple hits scattered over 2 innings. Peoples been dominant with his curveball, folks, and he spotted his fastball quite well. There's that curveball on the ground. Bertucci's been all over the field today. Nice play by Bertucci. Not going to get it there in time, but yesterday he had a beautiful diving play over the middle, which was great for Victorian momentum in their victory over New South Wales yesterday, 5-2. Their victory yesterday, 9-2. And that's an infield hit, the 3rd hit given up by Peoples, this time to the number 9 hitter, Bensman. And that brings the top of the order with a 1,500 slugging percentage, Itai Sakamura. Sakamura takes ball 1 away. Again, I'm repeating some of these things because you're just tuning in. Hitting 400 going into today, just dipping below with a strikeout in his last at bat. 3 home runs, including one over the center field fence yesterday. As Peoples fires a fastball to eve it at 1-1. Again, you've got one of the most dangerous hitters in the tournament here. Does Peoples come with the curveball? Does he go to the well again in the outer half? Not before he keeps Bensman close at first. Boy, Bensman, tall guy. He's been laying out through the tournament as the first baseman, and now he does the opposite as the runner on first. Fastball away, 2-1. I don't think you want to give in with a fastball here to potentially what you could say is the most dangerous hitter in the tournament. Certainly the guy who can put your fastball over the fence. And sure enough, throws the curveball. Didn't get it over for a strike. Catcher Brennan wants an appeal, but really he didn't swing there. Three and 1 count. I'd be tempted to come with that curveball again, though I thought maybe he flashed the fastball. They're looking in the outer half. He does throw the fastball, but not anywhere close. Boy, back in the days of Barry Bonds, you would just, even with a runner on in front of him, you might not throw to him. With such a dominant hitter there, we do see a walk to Sakimura. But then you've got to go face Quinn Fatai, the second baseman, and he's hitting .538 going in today, and above that with a single in his last at bat. And so things are getting a bit tight here. As the Victorian pitching coach, I believe that's the Victorian pitching coach, Dan Chirkup, to have a bit of a conversation with Peoples about how they're going to proceed here. On the plus side, the double play is still in order. On the downside, there's nobody out and 2 runners on, and a guy hitting well over 500 stepping to the plate. It doesn't get any easier for Peoples, but if I'm Victoria, the way he's been throwing thus far in the ball game, this is the guy that I want on the mound. Again, Peoples has started 2 games, thrown 5 innings. He had 2 strikeouts going into today, but he's already got 1, 2, 3, 4 strikeouts further. Doubled that total, or trebled that total in just the first 2 innings today. But now it's business time, and in a tight game like this really could be a couple runs. It really could be a 1-inning explosion somewhere for one of these teams. Therefore, you got to be very careful, even though it's early in the third. First baseman Langworthy in for the bunt. Would they bunt here? Yes, they're showing bunt. And I think that was part of why the pitching coach came out there too, was to indicate, hey, I want you to run a pickoff play, obviously to second base because the first baseman's not playing on the base, just to see if they are going to square around to bunt, and they have shown it. Fatai is showing bunt in what appears to be a tight ball game, and he's not bunting. A little bit of gamesmanship there. Showing bunt, not bunting. Fastball low for ball 1. Bit of cat and mouse, and some really good baseball run by some excellent coaches and some players who've got a bit of experience themselves at this point in their careers. They're going to go over those signs one more time as Peoples steps off. They got the runner on second, so they've got to go through a sign sequence. As you can see, Brennan flashing about 8 different signs there, and you don't know which one it is. Curveball low. Peoples has lost the feel for the curveball. He was so dominant in the first couple innings, particularly last inning, but not there right now. And he's really going to need to start getting that pitch over for a strike. Otherwise, these guys are just going to be sitting fastball, and WA is going to have a nice chance to open up this ball game. Sitting away, probably a fastball here on the outer half. Needs to dot that corner. He doesn't quite, but he gets the ground ball. Bertucci over to Brody, over to Langworthy for the double play. And you really couldn't ask much more from the Victorians there. Perfectly executed. Certainly Fatai made it close, but not close enough. Look at this. Ground ball. He wishes he had that pitch back. He got a little bit in front of it. Maybe a little bit of a took a little bit off that fastball. Brody does a nice job coming across the bag. Just gets him by the hair of his chinny chin at first. Langworthy with a nice stretch. And suddenly there's still a runner on third, but 2 away, and last chance with catcher Cameron Barr stepping to the plate. Oh, great job by Brennan. Another good job blocking a pitch with a runner on third base. So 2 times now in 2 innings he's blocked the ball with a runner on third. Saves a run. as Barr takes ball 1. Pride of the Morley Eagles, hitting .412 going into today, a little lower than that. Not sure if his ground out to second in his first at bat dropped him below 400. As Peoples just misses on the outside corner there. And suddenly it's 2-0. You've got first base open. You've got their number 3 hitter up to the plate, but then you got another dangerous hitter behind him. Peoples is probably really hoping to be able to throw a curveball for a strike here. Does he have the confidence? He does not. And by the way, folks, as he misses high with that fastball, he was so dominant with the curveball last inning. Part of being a teenager, finding your way in these things, is finding consistency. And he's hoping to find consistency on that curveball, but right now he's coming with the fastball and just missing for the walk. And you don't hate that there, because you don't want to give a guy a cookie. 3-0. Probably not swinging, probably taking 3-0. But you also put yourself in the unenviable first and third position, and you wonder what Victoria is going to do here if the runner takes off. And bear in mind, with Barr, the catcher, we have a substitute runner coming in, probably somebody a little bit quicker. That will be one of the pitching staff, Carlton Branch, coming in to run, though Branch has done a good job himself. And up steps to the plate the right fielder, Thomas Williams, hitting .462 before striking out in his last at bat. Peoples misses high. And I'm trying to figure out who that runner is come in at first. I said Carlton Branch, but ball in the air, sky high. Looks like Peoples might get out of it. Tough ball. Oh, Brody's gotten some tough balls to end each of the last 2 innings. Oh, he's just kind of shaking his head as he comes in. I don't blame him. That's a tough one. Oh, goodness. Wow. Look at that here. And forgive me for not getting the courtesy runner correct in that instance. I misread his number. As Brody, as that wind is pushing the ball in, as he's hustling in. Bear in mind, if that drops, that's a run. Brody going full speed, has to reach behind him to make the grab. But again, he gets him out of a tough situation with a nice catch in the field. And for Western Australia, after a promising start, 2 runs and 2 walks, with 2 left on base, the double play there being the key by Peoples to help get them out of the inning. And so for the Western Australians, no runs on 2 hits with 2 left on base. Wow, we're not even halfway through this ball game, and I'm feeling out of breath. What a good game. We're in the middle of 3 and no score. Wow. Wow. Wow, folks, fasten your seatbelts. We have a good baseball game here as Mitch Langworthy steps to the plate. Langworthy, as we mentioned, hitting .429 before flying out to second base in that last at bat. We're through 3 complete. We got no score. Wow, we're going to get through 7, it looks like, today. Nice pitch on the outer half. That evens the count at 1-1 to the leadoff man, Langworthy, playing first base today from Moorabbin. As Van Splunder misses on the outside corner to run, way off the outside corner to run the count to 2-1. Three and 1, fastball misses. Boy, in a game like today, you just don't have a lot of room to give up leadoff walks. Yeah, Langworthy's got a good bat. He's not batting cleanup for nothing, but you got to pump a fastball here. It looks like he's going to. Sure enough, and Langworthy swinging 3-0. Fly ball to center. Again, he just missed it. A couple swings for Langworthy where he might wish he had that pitch back where he just missed it. This time a fly to relatively deep center field, but just misses that ball. Just a hair off it. Actually just a little bit early and a little bit off the end of the bat on that pitch in the outer half of the plate. If he just waits back that little bit, he's going to barrel that up and get it in the gap. So stay tuned to Langworthy here. He's not far off. And Van Splunders not too far off on that pitch either. Just misses on the inner half as Cooper Busch steps in for his second at bat. Busch, of course, the late substitution as Sam Walk never came to the plate, listed as the designated hitter. Now that would be presumably for an injury because you've got a guy who's batting 600 on the tournament, and presumably that's why he was allowed not to bat, because usually the DH needs to hit at least once if listed on the lineup card. Nice piece of hitting by the substitute DH as Busch drives a single up the middle as the Victorians are showing a bit of life. Anything here in this ball game to get one run across at this point. Nice piece of hitting. He's hitting it exactly where it's pitched, right down the middle. He hits it right back up the middle. And I think that's an important lesson as to where we sit in this ball game today is, yes, a home run will do it, but you got to stay within yourself. And if you're not a Sakimura, if you're not a home run hitter, you just need to get a hit to let your teammates keep the conga line going as Ryan Coote steps in. Coote fouls that off to fall behind 0-1. As we mentioned, Coote out of the Williamstown Baseball Club, hitting .353 before he reached on a rare Sakimura error in the second inning. It was that hard in-between hop that Sakimura couldn't move his feet, and he just had to take his chances with, and it got through. Good jump by Cooper Busch. Not really much of a chance for Barr to throw him out there, and Barr's done a good job throwing out runners in this event. Just didn't have a chance that one because at the end of the event, Splunders is a little bit slow to the plate, and Marshall Skinner saw that and sent Busch, who easily stole that bag. So with a 1-1 count, Van Splunders delivers, throws a fastball, middle away. And overall, Van Splunders done a nice job of mixing up pitches today. And that fastball wasn't a bad pitch to hit, but when you don't quite know what's coming from Van Splunders, Coote just a little bit behind it to follow off and fall behind 1-2. Off speed, low and in. Interesting pitch because you get that movement with that, like we talked about, that little bit of a lower right elbow, lower arm angle causes the ball to move well for Van Splunders. And Coote had to protect there on what was a tough pitch to swing at. Fastball just misses up and away. And you get back to the ability to foul off pitches that are close when you have two strikes. Gives you the opportunity to swing again another day, as we saw from Cooper Barber on the WA side with that triple. He fouled off a couple to stay alive, and now Coote's trying to do the same thing as it counts even at 2-2. Ground ball, productive at bat at the end of the day by the left-hander. Probably not what he wanted to do there with one out, but at the end of the day, by at least pulling the ball, as lefties tend to do, you do get Cooper Busch into third base, and now suddenly he can score on a pass ball or an error. You'll see this just a bit off the end of the bat. Just rolls over it. But again, a productive out. Busch at third, Shanks stepping to the plate, playing in his comfortable home Essendon batter's box as he steps in after striking out in his first at bat. And he is ready here at home in these familiar surroundings, eating mama's cooking, presumably, or it could be dad, or it could be sibling. Don't assume in this day and age, but certainly comfortable in that dirt underneath his feet in this batting box, and he's swinging away, but fouls it off to fall behind 0-1. little bit off the plate, maybe a little anxious. Nice hustle again by Bensman, and thankfully, again, the fence did not end up being a more significant factor up against his body. We want to make sure that these guys finish this game and finish this event. And you wonder who's going to break through here. It's going to be that big play. It's going to be that great catch. It's going to be who makes a mistake or who gets the big hit in a moment like this. Pitchers are both dealing. Defenses are scooping it up, and the hitters are aggressive. Wow. Wow. We talked about that mistake. We'll see it here on the replay. So that would have been a drop third strike. A great job by Van Splundert to get yet another strikeout in this game. But the throw by catcher Barr, let's see on the replay what happens, but ultimately Barr has to throw to first. Of course, you've got the runner on third in Bush. So ball in the dirt. Run will score unless they get this guy out. There's the throw, a little bit off the base. Wow, the only way you can call that there is you saw Bensman's foot move across the plate. We're going to just talk about that replay for just a second as number 12 steps in. Goodness gracious. The catcher, Lachlan Brennan, who's been blocking the ball well himself. It was a good throw over to first by Barr. It just looked like Bensman's foot just struggled on the bag, and even from our replay, you saw white on white with his shoe, but where the umpire in the field, Pete Phelps, had the angles, he would have seen that arch in the foot that brought the heel off the bag, and that could be the difference in this ball game. It certainly is right now. Wow. As Brennan pops the ball up over to second base, Sakimura came across to get that ball. As Brennan pops it up, Sakimura is going to take this, particularly because Fatai was hustling across. Oh, I'm sorry, Fatai. That is Fatai coming back off the bag. Fatai went to cover, then had a lot of ground to cover to come back to catch that ball. And all of a sudden, the Victorians put a run on the board. One run on one hit with one left on base. Whew, boy, we're halfway through 3.5, and Victoria has taken the lead by a score of 1-0. We're going to stay with it here in the break because this could be the play that breaks the game. Ball in the dirt. Great job by Barr to block it. He tries to tag, but quick out of the box. Makes a good throw. Look at Bensman's foot. It just snips off the bag as he's reaching for the ball, and it just snips off the bag, and the heel bends and comes up, if you could see it there. And there's no way that an umpire like Pete Phelps makes that call. It's just one of those unfortunate things that a slick bag and a toe slips off it. Nobody's at fault there, folks. That's just sometimes things happen, but that thing that happened could be the difference in our ball game. Wow, we're back again, folks. Carlton Branch steps to the plate. Oh, boy. Still catching our breath from last inning. 1-0 count, Peoples deals. Fastball. Whoa, is your head spinning there out in clubland across Australia, perhaps other parts of the world watching this baseball game? Goodness, if it all came down to that play. Peoples looking to reestablish the curveball, but does not as he falls behind 2-1. Branch, of course, the leading hitter in the tournament, struck out looking last time on a Peoples curveball. Now he's ahead in the count 2-1. And Peoples has to come with the fastball. And that could be the difference in the game here for Peoples. He needs to reestablish that curveball if he's going to keep hitters, great hitters like Branch, off balance. At the end of the day, Branch didn't do anything particularly special, but he put the ball in play and he hit the ball hard, and he gets it past a diving Harrison Brody, who's been all over the field on line drives and pop-ups, and he just didn't get down quickly enough to make that play as Branch gets his first hit of the game and inches that batting average ever closer to 700. And speaking of needing that curveball, Peoples pipes another fastball, and all of a sudden Golding, the designated hitter, gets a second look at him, and after striking out looking in his last at-bat, he lines a single as WA looks to have an answer. Now, we talked about Cooper Barber earlier. Just another fastball, whack, hits it up the middle. And this is a dangerous, dangerous WA lineup. And actually the guy with the lowest batting average going into today is the guy who hit the triple in his last at-bat. Got a little break in the action as the Victorian pitching coach heads out to the mound. Dan Churkorp, forgive me, Dan, if I'm not pronouncing your name quite correctly. Dan Churkorp going to talk it over with Peoples. They really got to think about how they're going to throw here. If he can, he's got to fight to establish that curveball if he can. He's got to make an adjustment because that double play helped him so much to get out of the last inning after the triple. In that last inning after a couple of hits by WA. Now he faces a guy who tripled, who had the best at bat first time through the lineup, truth be told, the way Barber fouled off curveballs and fastballs before he tripled that ball that hit at the base of the fence. As we said, one more biscuit for breakfast, one more Wheat Bix for breakfast would have been the difference for a home run there. But now a guy who's already hot today, seeing the ball well against Peoples, steps in with nobody out, runners first and second, pride of the Wanneroo Giants, Cooper Barber, to face Riley Peoples. There's that curveball, and that was probably part of the conversation with the pitching coach there on the mound, is see if he can get ahead early with that curveball. Different at bat if he does, but he didn't. And now, look, if you're Cooper Barber, you're sitting on the fastball as his teammates have been doing early in this inning. They've got to keep Peoples prove the curveball. With no strikes in the count, you're sitting fastball hoping you get something to drive that Peoples might miss. Just a little jelly leg to see if they can get Carlton Branch at second. And that also could have been part of the conversation to come with a pick sometime during this at-bat. Goodness gracious, folks, we've got a good one here. Call your friends and neighbors. Nice pitch in the outside corner. Cool as a cucumber. Mark Stone calls strike one as Peoples evens the count. He's going to, until he can reestablish that curveball, he's got to be able to hit that outside corner like he just did to keep hitters like Barber from being able to pull another triple off the fence. Sure enough, a bit much of the plate, but you know what? They're going to get one out. Wow, Bertucci has been flashing the leather all through the tournament. We talked about the diving play he made in the first final yesterday over the middle. That play deep in the hole last inning that he couldn't quite get across on that infield single. And there's another one deep in the hole, able to make that throw to second base as we see it here on the replay. Look at Bertucci. He was pinching for the double play. He had a lot of ground to cover. He doesn't have a lot of time. He has to do all that in one fell swoop, and he does. Again, Brody in the middle of the action makes a nice play. Fielder's choice to get one out, keeps the double play in order, but up steps Harry Wooden. Wooden hit that line drive to end the last inning with the runner at third that Brody snaffled at second base. As we said, Brody in the middle of the action here quite a fair bit as well. And what you're trying to do here is get a ball into the outfield. You don't want a ground ball, you don't want a double play. Get it over the infield, get a run in. There's only one out. One out here, all you need is a fly ball, anything. And that ties up the ball game. And you're batting last if you're WA, so you're quite happy with the tie game. You don't need a big inning yet. You just need a run. And that run is only 90 feet away at third base. Fastball just missed on the inside corner. You can see Peoples, he's having to rely on that fastball a lot more, having lost command in the third and fourth after being very dominant with his curveball in the first and second. Early days, though, and he's pitched very well through the tournament. This is his third start through 5 innings thus far, 4 1/3 to this point. Hit that inner corner with the fastball. Good job by Peoples. Three and one count. And again, there he is with that fastball. Dots the outside corner. If this were the first of the second, you might have seen a curveball in a 3-1 count there, but he's having to go to the fastball. Now the question is he going to go to the curveball? You know the batter's sitting on fastball. Curveball could mean that double play if he throws a good one. If he doesn't, it loads the bases. Instead, he goes with the fastball, hit hard, did not have command of the curveball, chose to go with the fastball. In the end, that allows Harry Wooden to hit the ball harder than Mitch Langworthy can handle. Ruled a hit, too hot to handle. That drives in a run. Still runners on the corners. Again, comes with the fastball 3-2 in the first or second. He might have come with a curve. Instead, it's too hard. Langworthy can't get a glove on it or get a good glove on it. That scores Branch from third, giving its hit to right field. Barber advances to third on the hard hit ball by Wooden. Suddenly we have a tie game, only one out thanks to Bertucci's great play deep in the hole just to get the force out. Double play in order with Chance Bensman to the plate. He singled last time though. And now Marshall Skinner comes out, and it looks like it might be a time for a change. We just don't have the vantage point to see who's warming up in the bullpen, but with this change coming through, we'll get that to you just shortly. For the moment, we'll take a break. Good job by Riley Peoples from the Geelong Baycats Baseball Club. Just didn't have the handle on that curveball in the last 2 innings, but still spotted his fastball well. We'll have his line for you in just a moment. All right, that's going to bring the designated hitter into the game, and that we will cease to have the designated hitter now. As you know, Cooper Bush was a late substitution for Sam Walk, who presumably was injured and couldn't continue. So he was sitting in the DH spot. He will continue to bat. He will slot in as the pitcher. Cooper Bush from the Waverly Baseball Club, representing Victoria at the state level for the first time, and quite a time to be stepping into a game like this. First pitch, fastball. Chase Benson not able to catch up for it, falls behind 0-1. We'll have a line for Riley Peoples for you in a few minutes. 0-1 to the number 9 hitter Bensman, who singled in his last at bat. Got to keep him close there. This is a first and third situation. You could be seeing somebody like Wooden running. He's a center fielder, so he's a bit of a go-go guy, and that of course will help WA get out of the double play. The question is, if you're Brennan, do you throw it to second or not? And at this point, 0-2. We'll see what Bush comes here with his next pitch. If you're WA, you're thinking about running to get another guy in scoring position and get out of the double play. question is for Victoria, do you chance it to try to throw him out? Or are you throwing it to the pitcher, or is the second baseman coming in across to cut it? Runner not in motion. Fastball took a little bit off there. Misses low, trying to get him to chase as the count runs to 1-2. Bush fires, gets the off speed, gets the strikeout. Clutch pitch by a young man representing at the AYCs by my research for the first time to get the second out. Huge, huge pitch in a big situation. Look at that curveball, and a great job again by Brennan with the runner on third to block that pitch. Folks, you can't understate how important a catcher is in these moments, not just to make sure a pitch looks good, but to make sure that a run doesn't come across the plate. And then this is the guy you don't want to face, Sakimura, who hits a line drive. But sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, just like Bertucci caught that hot liner off Wooden's bat to end the threat in the second with a runner on third. Now it's Bertucci catching this blazing line drive off the bat, well, medium line drive off the bat of the very dangerous Samukara. And here we are. WA comes back, has an answer, ties the game. They wanted more. For WA, 1 run on 3 hits and 2 left on base. Goodness gracious, we are through 4 of this pivotal game. The winner advances straight through to the gold medal under 18 national championship game tomorrow. The loser has some lunch, has a rest, and then plays the winner of the subsequent game coming up next between the number 3 seed New South Wales and number 4 South Australia, both losers yesterday, and are getting ready to play next. We'll be back in just a moment. Woo! Here we are. We are in the top of the 5th, 3 innings left on what is a fantastic ball game. We talked a little bit about Harrison Brody laying out for ground balls just beyond his reach, catching hot line drives, catching pop-ups and swirling winds to keep Victoria out of trouble. And he steps in after doubling in his last at bat from the Moorabbin Baseball Club, taking a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. We've got a line for Peoples in just a moment. And there's that pitch with the low arm angle. You see that it kind of drifts in. We were talking about that earlier. He drops that right elbow, and that causes the ball to run in on the right-handed batter. In this case, it ran in a little bit too far. As Harrison Brody steps in reaches base for the second time today. And Brody, by the way, had 2 hits and 3 RBIs with a double yesterday. So this guy is hot. He might be in the number 9 hole, but he is hot. And that turns it over to the top of the order. Walked in his last at bat. Second leading hitter on the tournament, the third baseman, Cooper Bishop Warren. And this tells you what kind of game it is in the folks. This is, folks. You got a guy hitting just above 600 for the tournament after grounding out and walking so far today, and you've got him bunting. That's how important runs are. You're not going to take that 40% chance of a hit. You're going to take that high percentage chance of getting the guy to second on a sacrifice bunt. Wow. And you look at that, too. You've got a good defense there. But the other thing that does, too, is you've got – all of a sudden that brings in Cooper Barber at third. If they decide to change from the bunt, then, boy, if Bishop Warren can pull one hard down the line, he's going to have a lot more chance at third base. But let's see if he's going to try to bunt again. And he does not. He tries to have that big swing, but he just gets under it. Harry Wooden grabs that in center. I like that strategy by Skinner, actually, to show bunt early to see if he can pull that pitch, but he's just a little bit behind on it. You wanted him to pull it down the third baseline for a double. Instead, he's just that little bit late. You could see by the bat angle a little bit under it. And an unproductive out, unfortunately, for Victoria as he flies to the center fielder, Wooden. But it doesn't get any easier with Brady Stokes stepping to the plate. Runner goes. Great throw by Barr. Wow. Wow. Tuffett's in the dirt, but you got to give Samakara credit there. Look at how he has to really do a catch and tag, much like Monty Smith did earlier in the tournament. Boom, bring it down. You couldn't do much better. A lot of guys will catch that with their glove going up. He knew he had to catch that with his glove going down, and unfortunately the top of his glove hit the ball and the ball came out. Ground ball to third. Oh, runs into the tag there. Not time for a double play, but you know what? Boy, WA will take that as Brody gets the stolen base and really makes his first mistake of the day, probably of the last couple days, as he runs into that tag. A little bit too aggressive at third base. Unfortunately, you really didn't want to see that there in a game where runs are so important. And so Stokes, after 2 strikeouts, reaches on the fielder's choice. And then that brings up Jake Bertucci, the shortstop, who's just been a Hoover vacuum, as they say, up the middle all weekend, and particularly all week, and particularly the last couple days. Boy, we've just passed the 60 pitch mark, up to 64 for our pitcher, Van Splunders. That's going to keep him out as the runner goes. Foul ball. You would think perhaps there was a hit and run on there with a hitter's count 1-0. Van Splunders has been coming with a fair few more fastballs as well at this point. He has passed the 60 pitch mark, which means that once he passed the 45 pitch mark, he wasn't going to be throwing tomorrow. So they're going with him, just like they went with Dylan Bandy yesterday for 6 innings. They're going to go with Van Splunders as far as they can because he's done for the tournament. As long as he's effective and he's feeling healthy, then they're going to go. Misses away with the fastball to run the count to 2-1. As mentioned, we've got 2 away. Harrison Brody running into the tag, otherwise they would have a runner in scoring position. It's going to take an extra base hit as Stokes will be off with the crack of the bat from first and he'll have a chance to score on a double. But a single would have been enough if Brody would have held position at second. Runner goes again, up the middle, over the head. He's not going to score on a single, but he's going to make it all the way to third because he was in motion. And you won't quite be able to see it, but you see Stokes heading back to the bag. I'm sorry, you see Bertucci heading back to the bag. He does a nice job here of rounding it hard in case that ball gets away at first. Nice piece of hitting by Bertucci to make sure he gets it just high enough out of the reach of Quinn Fatai. Good throw to third. Doesn't quite have a chance at him. And the thing that you risk there is by not hitting your cutoff, if that ball gets by, you did have an aggressive Bertucci ready to take second base. And then Splunders, he's up in the high 60s on his pitch count. He is on his 3rd time through the order, and they are going to make a change. Nice job by Bertucci today. You really couldn't ask for much more out of him if you're manager Kurt Russell, and you could see the smile on both of their faces as they made their change. Got to be proud of that young man's performance. But really, in a 1-1 ball game, there's not a lot of time to take a lot of joy in that. You'll have to watch the replay back later or talk about it over a Pepsi tonight at the hotel, because with runners on first and third and the go-ahead run on third, there's not a lot of rest for the weary here. We'll get to you with these changes in just a moment. Coming right back to you here on Baseball Plus, brought to you by Spacequake Sports. Okay, let us set the scene for you. We've got 2 outs. We've got runners on first and third. We have a tie ball game 1-1 here in the top of the 5th in a game where runs have been very hard to come by. We have Dylan Palethorpe from the Morley Eagles on the mound in to do a job, hoping to get WA out of it, but they're going to have to face a very difficult Mitch Langworthy, who's just been missing the ball all day and flying out in his last at-bat to center. And so as much as you'd like to face a guy you've gotten out twice on the day, as we see ball 1, Langthorpe has been just that much off of really putting a charge into one. And so it's a dangerous batter you're facing here in the cleanup hitter from Moorabbin, playing first base for Victoria. And there he just missed that one as well. He's got good extension on his bat, and he just missed getting extended through that pitch as well on the 1-1 count. Palethorpe just misses with the off-speed pitch. And I'll tell you what, Cameron Barr wanted to know where that is. He kind of did one of those no-nos in baseball. He looked around to Mark Stone and said, "Where was that?" Well, much like my teenage children, you need to be careful. Teenagers do like to query. Ground ball scooped up at third by Cooper Barber. Wanneroo Giant across to Chase Bensman. If you're going to throw it in the dirt, you like to throw it in the dirt to the guy you throw it in the dirt to all season. Cooper Barber, big triple today, and also a clutch fielding play to keep WA tied in this ball game. But credit there to Bensman on the pick for Victoria in the top of the 5th. You've got no runs on 1 hit, on 2 left on, no runs on 1 hit, 2 left on base. Probably the key play there, unfortunately for Victoria, was Brody getting caught on that ground ball to third, trying to scamper from second to third and running into the tag. But, hey, we're teenagers, we're young, we make mistakes, we're finding consistency, we're full of enthusiasm. So Victoria will have to wait. Palethorpe comes in to do the job. Believe it or not, we're in the middle of 5 with a score of 1-1. Just want to let you know, by the way, if you're enjoying this baseball coverage on Baseball Plus, brought to you by Spacequake Sports, it makes a difference when you have a platform dedicated to baseball, and it makes a difference when you've got a production team and a production company that knows how to show you a baseball game. Well, if you're enjoying this coverage, there's an opportunity to purchase an ABL playoff pass, and if you do that now, you'll get the round 10, which has Perth at Adelaide, to play a 5-game series to see who's going to go to Sydney the following week for that championship series. So you get the remainder of round 10 for free. Head over to plus.baseball.com.au to lock in your pass today. Support professional Australian baseball. Tell Spacequake Sports what a good job they do. Listen to Eric Balnar calling it in Adelaide next weekend. But for now, before all that ABL excitement, we're back in for some excitement here in Victoria. And that'll bring to the plate here in the 5th. Quinn Fatai came into today hitting .538, playing second base, as he takes a fastball from Bush to even the count at 1-1. We do have a line for you on Peoples, by the way. Peoples was dominant with that curveball in the first 2 innings, and he lost command of that, and that's not as effective in the last 2, though, goodness, he only gave up 1 run through 4 innings earned. And that curveball just missed to even the count at 2-2 for Peoples. 3.1 innings, giving up 6 hits, striking out 4 and walking 2. He threw 73 pitches, 32 of them for strikes. The 1 run he gave up was earned. Good break on that curveball by Bush, and even better side-to-side movement from Lachlan Brennan from the Melbourne Baseball Club to block that. Faced 17 batters he did. Great job by Peoples. As Bush misses high to run the count full to 3-2. To walk him ball 4. Wow, runner on first, and boy, Victoria led off with a hit by pitch. Now WA in this inning. Now WA leads off for a walk. That brings up the catcher, Cameron Barr. He singled in his last at bat. Of course, his first opportunity to face Bush here today, with the leadoff runner in the form of Fatai on first. There's that bunt. That is an excellent bunt. He won't quite beat that out, but he's sure going to make it close. And this late in the ball game, really every run is sacred. What's that Monty Python song? Every run is sacred. Every run is great. If you know the reference, you're as old as I am. But that's a perfect bunt, and you're going to give up an out in this situation because that run is important. You're not playing for the big inning, particularly as a home team. You're playing for one here in the fifth. Nice sacrifice bunt, perfectly executed by Barr, as fellow Morley Eagle Tom Williams steps in 0-2 on the day. Good work by Brennan on the fastball. Cooper Bush looking to find that little bit more of a command, but you know what? As long as you're not throwing too many cookies over the plate, down the guts, not the worst thing in the world to miss a bit when you got somebody like Lachlan Brennan out of Melbourne behind the plate hoovering up the ball for you. That one down the plate. Looked like he maybe took a little bit off that. Perhaps a two-seam fastball, a little bit of dip in that. That, of course, evens the count at 1-1. Williams hitting .462 going into today, still above 400 at this point. Just got that glove down a little bit late. It didn't look like he was trying to pick that ball. Just looked like the glove came down late, and there were a couple of times where he just blocked it off the top of the glove. This time it actually got through. Runner on third. He's been clutch with a runner on third. Let's not be too hard on the young kid behind the plate. It's been a long week of catching, and I got to tell you, Brennan's been as good as anybody. We got two of the best right here in Cameron and Barr from the top two seeds. But with only one out, the job here shifts for Williams. Just get it in the outfield, which he does not, but it gets by the normally solid Bertucci. And it was kind of an in-between hop. It was hit hard enough that he couldn't line up his feet the way he wanted it. And it just was a little bit in between, and he had to, just like Sakamura did earlier in the game, he just had to take his chances because it was hard hit. He couldn't get his feet to make the hop that he wanted, so he had to take the hop that he had. And he tried to get his glove through it, but did not. And all of a sudden, Thomas Williams, and that would be ruled an error, but Williams puts it in play, and that makes something happen as Carlton Branch steps to the plate. Goodness gracious, folks. Call your friends and neighbors. Text on the club group text over in WA and here across Victoria. This is a great baseball game. You don't want to miss the end of it. As leading hitter in the tournament, Carlton Branch skies this one to left field. Riley Shanks is under it for the second out. First out by catcher Barr's sacrifice bunt. And a fly out by Branch to left field for the second out. That'll bring up Leonard Golding from the Melville Braves Baseball Club. He came into today hitting .444. Probably Branch got a little impatient there. Maybe wanted to do too much with that pitch instead of keep the conga line going. But hard to argue with a guy who came into today hitting .698 and leading the competition. Golding steps in, singled in his last at bat as he takes strike one to even the count. Sorry, 0-1 on the count. As again, he's just not able to dot that outside corner. Bush is missing by a bit. But again, he's still even. Again, call your friends and neighbors. Send out the group text. Don't miss what these kids are doing today. Again, misses on that outside corner. Going to need that command there. Now, luckily for both these teams, as emotional and as exciting as this is, the losing team's going to get a chance to reset and come back in the winner-go-home sudden death elimination final. Ground ball, nice piece of hitting by Golding as he gets his second hit of the day, keeps the conga line going, putting runners on second base, putting a runner on second, runners on first and second. And it's getting interesting here. This is one of those games where runs have been hard to come by. Look at that. Just do your job. Make some hard contact. Put the ball in play. Nice effort by a diving Cooper Bishop Warren out of Werribee. But nothing he could do there. And that brings up Cooper Barber from Wanneroo. And he had that beautiful triple after going deep with 2 strikes, fouling off a lot of pitches. Nice job today by Cooper Barber as he takes that curveball for strike one. Heck of a pitch by Bush. And he's not had the ideal command on his fastball. So I like this pitch calling here by Brennan behind the plate. That get me ahead curveball when a guy's not going to swing at a curveball 0-0. If you can throw that curveball for a strike, get ahead, and the percentages are in your favor. Now you can afford to miss off the plate. They did not. He went again with the off speed. And that puts Cooper Barber, the third baseman, behind 0-2. Now, Barber did well, as we talked about earlier, with 2 strikes. Now it's his job. Just stay in live, put it in play. You're not looking to get that another triple. You're just looking to put it in play. Maybe you can get it past the infield just like Golding did and keep the conga line going. And the only way to do that is if you put it in play. Follow off the pitches you can't hit well. If you get something you can handle, put it in play. See what happens here with 2 outs. And he does. There he is, fouling it off. Nice curveball by Bush there. An important moment here in the game. A 3-1 lead's a lot bigger than a 2-1 lead in a game such as this. There's that curveball. Could not foul it off to stay alive. Bush has found that off-speed pitch when he's had a little bit of trouble spotting his fastball. So, wow, he gets out of it, but not before WA scores 1 run, doing no small part to that beautiful sacrifice bunt to Cameron Barr after the leadoff work by Fatai. There you see the off-speed pitch again from Bush. Boy, looks like you want to lean on that going into the last couple of innings. Only 1 more inning on the hill for him unless Victoria can come back against WA. Barber strikes out for WA in the inning. 1 run on 1 hit, also an error and a walk to leave 2 on base. We're in the middle of 5. WA leads Victoria by a score of 2-1. I'm a Chicago native, and I've lived here in Victoria for over 20 years. And I'll tell you, I got detoured. The tunnel was blocked on the way in, so I got a chance to drive through the city to see some of the beautiful things. Like people are already starting to assemble at Melbourne Park at the tennis for the big Australian Open. You saw the Collingwood team training at the Lexus Center. It's all happening in here at Melbourne as the sporting capital. The only city in the world to host both an F1 Grand Prix and the Australian tennis starting here this weekend. Melbourne's a lot of things, but people don't ever just come here for one thing. And we're live back here in Victoria, the place to be, as pitcher Dylan Palethorpe misses high for ball 1. Against the pitcher, formerly the DH, Cooper Bush. One and 1 count. Palethorpe delivers. Fastball gets the upper part as he falls behind. Gets under that one, fouls it back. Bush battling 1 and 2 count. Mark Stone showing it to us there with his fingers. Nice off-speed pitch. Good job by Bush to stay alive. We talked about that a little bit. Cooper Barber being the poster child of fouling pitches off to stay alive. But that's what you got to do. You got to get on base, or you got to at least put the ball in play and give your team a chance in situations like this. 0-2 count. Fastball misses up and in. Evens it at 2-2. Palethorpe has taken Bush's eyes up and in. Not a bad spot to look either away or a curveball away in this situation because you've changed the vision level of the batter. Sure enough, throws it on the outer half, but Cooper Bush is with the program, fouling it off and staying alive. Two on the outside half, K for strike 3. And this is one, if you're watching throughout Victoria here, you might think that looked a little off the plate. When we come back to that shot in just a moment, just bear in mind that the center field camera is just to the third base side of the bag, so what you're seeing there is not a true angle of where the pitch necessarily is, as Bush strikes out looking, and that brings up Ryan Coote, the center fielder, 0 for 2 on the day. Palethorpe misses inside to run the count to 1-0. Misses in 2-0 the count. Coote hitting .353 going in today. That's dipped a little bit with an 0 for 2 appearance. He reached on a rare second mirror error in the first, I should say the second. Fouls it off, 2-1. Have you been calling your friends and neighbors? Are you all tuned in for this one? This has all the feeling of a finals game, folks. You couldn't ask for a much better played baseball game than this. Only a couple of mistakes, 2 in the field, 1 on the bases, 3 mistakes in total. As Coote swings through to even the count at 2-2. Nice piece of hitting up the middle. Sakamura cannot get a glove on it. Just a little bobble. Great hustle into second base. These are the things that can turn a game. A little bobble in the outfield. All of a sudden a single turns into a double. Let's see what happens there in the outfield. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of bobble by Wooden. Well, a little more than a little. But at the end of the day, that's the difference between a runner in scoring position and 1 out and a double play being in order. Riley Shanks struck out last time, and we had that weird K2 that pulled Brensman off the bag. A very unusual way that Victoria scored its run. Just one of those weird things where Chance Bensman's foot just kind of slipped off the bag and then his heel arched forward, and there wasn't contact when he actually had the ball in his glove. When he received the throw from Barr. And that's the only Victorian run so far. But with Coote on second, Shanks has a chance to, in his own way, drive another run in or be responsible for another run. Goodness. He's hoping to be involved in both 2-run scoring plays for the Victorians. But at the moment, he's got 2 strikes on him. And it gets back to just put the ball in play. If he can get the ball on the ground to the right side, for example, just put it in play. At least that's a productive out. And then you have a runner on third. Even with 2 outs, beyond a hit, you still got an error or a pass ball that can score him. Now, we've looked at Palethorpe before. He's done a good job of moving the ball in and out. He and Barr have to kind of change where the hitter's vision, where the kinetics of their zone is, if that's the right way to say it. But still setting up down the middle here, thinking he might be going with a curveball. Indeed, he was. He could have gone away with a fastball there. Instead, he misses with a curveball in, which is obviously what Barr was setting up for. Not looking to dot the corners with that curve, but just get me over and mix up speeds after the fastball. We have a 2-2 count, and he's staying alive. He's got to put the ball in play here with 2 strikes to see what he can make happen. And he's staying alive with 2 strikes, but I bet he'd like to have that pitch back. It was a pretty good fastball, but with the way Palethorpe is mixing up the Morley Eagle, the pride of the Morley Eagles, the way he's mixing up pitches, you don't know what you're going to get. And he was just that little bit late on the fastball, but fouled it off to stay alive. Curveball away. And kudos to Shanks, who's come a long way back. Again, he factored in that run on the weird drop third strike situation for Victoria. He'd like nothing more to drive in the second run. He's gone from 0-2 to 3-2. But again, the name of the game is either get on first with the walk to keep the conga line going or put the ball in play to see what might happen to help your team. You've got to find a way. And he does. Hard on the ground, but just foul. These are the at-bats you like to see, and we've got scouts from 15 or 16 Major League Baseball teams. Quite a number of NCAA coaches have sent programs have sent staff members out to scout. You can see the radar guns and hear the American accents, if you will. And it's gutsy at-bats like this that make impressions. Pops it up on the infield. That's not going to be easy. Barr is in position, and he makes the catch. Now you'll see, perhaps we'll get a replay there, but just replay it in your mind. What Barr did really well there too is you notice that he hung on to his mask as he was. Here it is on the replay. Now he's going to hold on to his mask as he goes there. He doesn't want to drop it and then have the ball drift back and then trip over your mask. So he's spotted the ball. He's absolutely sure where the ball is going, where he's going to catch it. Then he drops the mask, and sure enough, it does pull him backwards a bit, as that spin generally will pull the ball. The backspin will pull the ball back towards the diamond. That's why the catcher has his back to the diamond. And Barr made a really nice catch on a very high foul ball, a non-productive out for Shanks. That'll bring up Lachlan Brennan, fly to right and fly to second baseman Harry Brody as he takes ball one. 2 away, still a runner on second. And it's going to take a clean hit in all likelihood to score the run here. Fastball just misses up. Palethorpe would have wanted that. Barr did not turn his head this time. Good that he's learning. I'm sure the last time he did that, Mark Stone gave him a gentle reminder, as we tend to do with our young ones sometimes. Two and one on Brennan. He would have liked to have gotten that pitch back. Big hole. They're playing him to pull. That was on the outer half. He had the right idea to take to the right side. There's a huge hole. As Fatai is nearly on the bag at second, holding the runner on. And Bensman is close to the line. There's that another pitch away. So best chance here on a 3-1 count. Yeah, you want to be the hero. You want to get the big hit. But if I'm at the plate, I got to tell you, I'm looking for that fastball middle away, and I'm punching that through the hole on the right side because there couldn't have any bigger hole in the infield at this point. And that was potentially the pitch to do it on. That runs a count to 3-2. That big hole is still there. Puts it in the air. Looks like it's going to be a can of corn for Wooden in center. The Wanneroo Giant hauls it in, makes good after that little bobble to put the runner in scoring position, but nothing came of it for Victoria. No runs on one hit, a single with an error. One left on base. We are in the middle of the sixth. Victoria, one more chance coming up, trailing WA by a score of 2-1. Okay, we're back here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Just a quick line on the starter for WA Van Splendor. He went 4.2 innings, faced 21 batters. Very efficient, throwing 44 strikes out of 67 pitches. He only gave up 3 hits, 1 run, which was unearned. As Bush fires in strike 1 against Henry Wooden. Wooden skies it into the air. Bertucci is on it. Shanks was ready, but Bertucci had a beat on it as Harry Wooden, the Wanneroo Giant, flies to short for the first out. Just to finish that line, a really great performance, and you saw the smile on his face as he was leaving the game. Both he and head coach Kurt Russell, he struck out 4 and on 2 walks. And that would be a first pitch foul strike to Chance Bensman, as Palethorpe continues to deal. Nice off-speed pitch, just misses to even the count at 1-1. Fastball, good old country hardball there. I'm going to throw it hard. You see if you can hit it. He threw it a little up, and Bensman swung through it. Bensman's walked and struck out on the day. And he takes strike 3 for his second strikeout, this time looking. Bush doing a good job of going right after the bottom of the order here, getting both 8 and 9. Look at that fastball right down Broadway. Can't let that go. He must have been looking curveball there. Hey, these things happen even to the best of us sometimes. But you don't want to relax if you're Cooper Bush. You've got the guy who in one swing can double that lead to 2 runs in the form of Ita Samukawa. And they're being careful with the curveball in the outer half. And forgive me if I flub this story, but I want to make sure I tell it even if it's from memory. But he competed for Australia recently in the World Championships as he takes a fastball to even the count at 1-1. And in order to do that, he had to go for his Australian citizenship. And that means in a couple years he's going to have to make a real hard choice between his Japanese and Australian citizenship. Sorry, I said American there. I'm an American. You can hear in my funny accent from Chicago. 20-year veteran of life in Melbourne, but Sakamura is a bit younger than that, and he's making some of those choices now in his life. And he's making a good choice in that curveball as he takes that high to run the count to 3-1. So in a couple years, Japan makes you choose which citizenship you're going to keep, and he's got to choose it as he takes strike 2 to even the count. And you know what? I don't mind that there from a observer's point of view. I'd love to see what he does with the 3-2 pitch here. This is a great young ball player showing his pride in being part of the Australian baseball community and living and playing for Korean in WA. Ooh, I bet he'd like that pitch back. Again, a little bit of country hardball from Cooper Bush. Throwing it by a few guys, and he threw it by arguably certainly the most powerful hitter in the tournament with 3 home runs and a 1,500 slugging percentage. This time, that's back, over the wall for a double. Sakamura records an additional extra base hit, lifts that slugging percentage. You see that celebration on second base. Wow. Itai Sakamura, the guy you didn't want to face. You're real happy there was nobody on base, and you're really happy that this ball doesn't quite make it over the fence. Hits on the grass, bounces over the fence. A potential 3rd run is in scoring position, and that brings up Quinn Fatai. Singled, walked twice today. Singled and walked and hit into a key double play. Ground ball foul, falls behind 1-0. Sakamura not only has 3 homers, he's got a triple and now a double in the tournament. Samakawa, yes, thank you. Gotta love Samakawa. I want to apologize. I think I missed. And I want to apologize. I got that name wrong a couple of times in my excitement. Samukawa. Excellent young ball player, as is Fatai at the plate. Nice work behind the plate by Brennan. Two and two count here. A very important insurance run on second base in the form of Samukawa. Again, a nice job by Brennan. He's blocked a lot of balls back there today. We got a full count. And first base open. You don't want to give him anything too good here. We might see an off-speed pitch. We don't. We see a fastball driven hard, but just foul down the third base line. It's a tough situation. You got a guy like Cameron Barr on deck who's got a hit today. I might favor, if you can, throwing an off-speed pitch here. Bush has shown a propensity to be able to throw that for a strike. You got to remember that there is 2 outs and there is first base open, and that run on second is absolutely huge. I didn't quite see if Brennan looked over to the dugout to perhaps get that sign. He's certainly going to set up away. Oh, actually going through the signs 3 times. Where is he going? He is going to set up away. I'd favor an off-speed pitch here if I was the Victorians. Certainly they do. They get the strikeout. He was looking fastball 3-2. An absolutely huge pitch by Cooper Bush. Lachlan Brennan went through the pitches count, his pitch sequence 3 times to make sure they had it right. It was the right pitch, perhaps called by Marshall Skinner from the dugout. But at the end of the day, it's a fantastic job by the young battery of Lachlan Brennan behind the plate and Cooper Bush. Watch this curveball. Fatai wanted nothing of it. He was looking fastball 3-2, and it's a pitch like that changes the complexity of a game. A base hit there, and a 2-run lead in this game can seem kind of insurmountable. Now the Victorians are only down by 1. Last chance coming up here in the top of the 7th. Folks, if you haven't told your friends and neighbors and fellow clubmates to get on this broadcast, we've got a great baseball game. We hope you're tuning in. We'll be back to you in just a moment. Well, folks, it all comes down to this half inning. Number 1 seed WA leads number 2 seed Victoria by a score of 2-1. The last time these two teams faced off, it was 1 run in the bottom of the 6th that allowed WA to claim the 1 seed with a 10-9 victory over Victoria. Both teams won their initial finals game yesterday. Now they're here for a chance to play through to directly to the grand final tomorrow, or you've got to regroup and play a sudden death win or go home game next. That's what's on the line as Harrison Brody from Moorabbin leads off for Victoria. Brody has had a really nice game, scooping up things at second base, line drives, ground balls, pop-ups. He's got a double. He's reached twice. He takes strike 1. Nice curveball, just misses a little bit high for Harrison Brody. 1-1 count. Palethorpe misses. Brody's gotten on twice today. He led off last inning with a hit by pitch. Unfortunately, he got caught up a little aggressive from second base. Ooh, hits that hard. Looks like it's going to twist foul and out of play to even the count. We do have a defensive change in the outfield. The DH Golding has gone into center, and Wooden has gone over to left, the center fielder. 2-2. Brody stays alive. That's either going to get down or it's going to be foul. Oh, Bensman. He has been all kinds of crazy stuff on foul balls over there. It's been quite a day for that young man, between the weird drop third strike play to a couple foul balls against the fence. Now he pulls out his magic act. Good job by Harrison Brody to try to stay alive and foul that pitch off, but he got just a little too much of it in that instance. And Chase Benson, wow, that is one of the toughest balls over your shoulder. Turn around, going to knock it up in the air a couple of times. It's like he's playing hacky sack with it. get the first out. A huge out for WA. And a huge pitch there for Dylan Palethorpe. A get-me-over curveball. Nobody's looking to swing in a curveball as the first pitch. In the top of the order, number 2 hitter in the tournament, Bishop Warren, steps up. Another curveball. Little flare, gets over the head of Benson. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and always better to put the ball in play. And he came into today hitting .632, number 2 in the tournament. He records his first hit of the game in Bishop Warren. He is the all-important tying run to keep things alive from Victoria. And really, he was late on that ball, but a nice piece of hitting. As he saw he was fooled, he kept his hands. You saw he pulled his hands inside. It just put it in play, down 0-1. And here he's alive with Brody Stokes, 2 strikeouts and a fielder's choice on the day, and they need to get this guy to second. A bunt is probably, as you saw, not in the cards here with 1 away already. You're going to need to see a stolen base, a hit and run, or frankly just a clean base hit. Now Stokes came into today hitting .524, probably dipped just below that with probably right about there, dipped just below that with an 0-for-3 day, as he takes a fastball in the outside corner to fall behind 0-2. And you really have to tip your cap to Dylan Palethorpe right here. He's spotting his fastball in the outside corner. He's throwing curveballs for strikes. There's a reason why WA was the number 1 seed and they went through undefeated. Again, just eking ahead of the Victorias by 1 run in the last inning in pool play. And a big part of it has been some excellent pitcher performances here in the finals. Wow, nice piece of hitting. Just foul down the line. Wow. There was absolutely no hesitation in the mind of home plate umpire. They're going to keep running just in case. The Victorians kept running just in case, but there's no instant replay here, even if we see different up here in the booth. But Mark Stone was on it from the start. I'm sure the replay will show it to be foul. Stone was in perfect position. Here we go. Hopefully not a pole in the way. We're getting a look here. Very good call. That was 6 inches foul easily. Not easy to see, and certainly if you're a Victorian here at the Essen Baseball Club, particularly with your home guy at the plate, you'd want a little bit different. But Palethorpe gets past that by the skin of his chinny chin. And unfortunately, instead of a 1-out clutch double that might score a run, certainly get 2 runners in scoring position, now it's 0-2 on Stokes. Fastball in, he pops it in the air. It looks catchable. Nope, it's out of play. The new center fielder, Wooden, now the left fielder, I should say. Wooden has moved over from center to left. He gives chase, but well out of play. Foul. And Stokes lives to swing another pitch, and that's the name of the game with 2 strikes. Stay alive until you can put the ball in play. Does it again, fouls off a pitch that was too close to leave. A little off speed on the outside corner, too close to leave, and he fouls it off to stay alive. Probably if there's one thing you don't want to do here, it's hit into the double play. And I don't mean to jinx a fellow Victorian as I sit here in the box, don't hate me, but his job is to get a hit if he can. Unfortunately, just didn't quite get all of it, as that's a can of corn to center to the new center fielder, Leonard Golding, coming in out of the DH position. And with 2 away in this terribly exciting ball game, Victoria is 1 out away of needing to regroup and play a winner-take-all elimination final here after a break for a game in between. And WA 1 out away from advancing to the grand final gold medal championship game tomorrow. And there's Palethorpe, not afraid to throw that first pitch curveball over for a strike. Not too many people are swinging at that at any level. So that has been a real strength for Palethorpe today, is his command of 2 pitches. All pitchers have shown that today. Palethorpe has it right now when he needs it. There's that curveball again, hit hard down the line. Is that going to sit down? It's a fair ball, says umpire Mark Stone. Is he going to send him? Yes, he's rounding third. The throw to the plate, it gets bobbled. It's not going to be in time. The Victorians have tied the game on a dramatic 2-out double by Jake Bertucci. Singled in his last at-bat, doubles in the tying run in the form of Cooper Bishop. Warren, watch this pitch. He's sitting on what I believe is an off-speed pitch, drives it down the line. Palethorpe went to the well one too many times. This time the ball was just fair. Wooden gets the ball in quick, just a little bit of a bobble on the relay throw. That does not allow enough time for the throw to be caught and tagged at the plate by catcher Cameron Barr. And just like that, the Victorians have tied up what has been perhaps the game of the tournament so far as Bishop Warren scores the tying run. As they walk first baseman Mitch Langworthy with 2 outs to bring up pitcher Cooper Bush. Bush, a little late on that fastball, drives it to fall behind. 0-1. We've been telling you, put it in the group text for the club. Tell your friends and neighbors. This is one heck of a ball game, and hey, we're only in the top of the inning, and we're still tied. Bush down 0-2. Boy, if Palethorpe can get out of it here, the momentum swings back towards the West Australians as they have a crack to win it before ever letting the Victorians bat again. So real important to stay alive if he can for Cooper Bush. And at least he puts it in play with 2 strikes. Samukawa makes the catch at short, but not before the dramatic 2-out game-saving double by Jake Bertucci to drive in Cooper Bishop Warren to tie this game at 2 apiece for the Victorians. 1 run on 2 hits, and with the intentional walk, that means 2 left on base. We are in the middle of 7 with the opportunity to go straight through to the grand final or being stuck going through to the elimination game later this afternoon. We are tied at 2 here in the middle of the 7th. We've got some changes for you. Cooper Bishop Warren is on the hill. And we got a few other changes too that will come back to you in just a moment. But the thing we wanted to get out here quickly before we get into what will surely be an exciting bottom of the 7th is, remember, normally we would have no new inning after 2 hours and 5 minutes. Well, we are past that mark at this point, but because we have a tie, we cannot end in a tie, so this game will be played into extra innings with the international tiebreaker rule, and we'll keep you tuned to that in just a moment. Yes, for the moment, we are in the bottom of the 7th. We've got some changes for the Victorian. Got a few changes for you. Cooper Bishop Warren on the mound. That means Brody Stokes has gone to 3rd, and new into the game is Jai DeBlassie in right field. As we settle in, fasten your seatbelt, folks. Cameron Barr at the plate, takes ball 1 off the plate, the first offering from Cooper Bishop Warren. I'm just trying to catch my breath. Hope you are too. Hope you aren't working today and you're enjoying some baseball. We have a 2-0 count here on Bishop Warren, yet to throw his first strike just into the ball game. And he does throw that fastball there, a little bunt in front of the mound, a swinging bunt, and that'll be good enough to be a hit. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Cameron Barr shows outstanding speed for a catcher as he reaches for the 2nd time today, this time on an infield single. Watch this, just swings over it, but he gets out. He doesn't hesitate. He gets right out of the box. Bishop Warren does all he can, makes a good throw over to Langworthy, but just not in time. And all of a sudden you've got the leadoff runner on, the winning run on. And what the umpires are going to do, you'll see a conference there on the mound if we can cut to it. We see a conference between the umpires, and what Mark Stone wants to know is, just to be sure, did he actually foul that off his foot? It looks like they're shaking their heads. The Pat White and Pete Phelps are shaking their heads that they didn't see it fouled off his foot. So it's going to be a safe hit, as you see, motioned by Mark Stone, and really good on them to make sure that they got it right. The Spacequake replay, you see that cloud of dust just by his foot. It didn't seem to have hit his foot like we remember we had that one the other day that they did miss and it went sideways and rolled foul, if you saw that. So really good work on the part of the umpires in a big game, especially like today. You want to make sure you got it right, and indeed they did. Now, Thomas Williams, you could be seeing, he's reached once today on the error in the rare error at shortstop in his last at bat. And you got to think they're playing for one run here. Every chance they might be bunting with Carlton Branch, the tournament's leading hitter, on deck. They are not bunting. And he pops that ball into the outfield. Jai DeBlassie coming into the game. DeBlassie makes the catch for the first out of the inning. And look, there's two schools of thought on there. You are the home team in this instance, so you're going to be guaranteed another chance to hit regardless. If you end up walking, or if you end up doing a sacrifice bunt, as you see the pop-up heading out to Jai DeBlassie getting his first action in the game. Now the thing is, if you do a sacrifice there, then that leaves first base open, and your best hitter's not going to get a chance to hit, which he is now, in the form of Carlton Branch, who takes strike one. You don't want to take the bat out of your hands, out of your best hitter's hands in this situation. Granted, it's probably going to take a couple of hits to score the run, but at the end of the day, he would have meant nothing on first base after being intentionally walked if they had sacrificed bunt. And instead, what you're going to see is a hit. It sits down and gets a little grass in the gap. And really well played by DeBlassie. You would have liked your left-handed hitter pulling a ball there to right, and you would have liked the chances potentially of Barr, the speedy, for a catcher, very speedy Barr, to make it all the way to third. DeBlassie did a great job going to get that ball in the gap and getting it in quickly to the cutoff man. What that meant is that Barr couldn't take third. That puts a lot of different things into play here for the Victorians. Indeed, one pitch and a double play can get them out of it. But for the moment, we have now playing center field Golding, formerly the DH, Golding stepping in with the chance to win this incredibly exciting baseball game. And he's not too anxious. Good credit to the young man there. A lot of times you see that fastball in the count and you want to be the hero and you're swinging. He's showing a really patient approach, which is fantastic. And at the end of the day, he doesn't have to get the game-winning hit. He just needs to keep the conga line going. There's only one bad answer here, and that's a double play. And he hits that ground ball just foul to even the count at 1-1. With one out, you just really what you're trying to do is put the ball into the outfield. A sacrifice fly, I'm sorry, we're not at the point of a sacrifice fly, but you want to get the ball in the outfield and avoid the double play in this instance with runners, because that's the only thing that's going to end your scoring chance. So something up in the zone, something you can drive. Hopefully it sits down and scores a winning run. And tip of the cap to Bishop Warren there. A crucial curveball in that situation, and he got Golding to chase and gets himself ahead in the count 1-2. He could look to come with that again, but you definitely don't want to throw too far over the plate. Either you want to get that curveball in the outer half or a fastball away. I'm going to guess he's coming with another curveball again in the outer half. Instead, the fastball way too much at the plate, but the magician Bertucci makes the play over to first. Langworthy with the stretch. They don't get the double play, and the winning run scores. Oh my gosh, folks. Wow. Whoo, boy. We're just going to let this one breathe for a second, folks. Going to get a sip of water. Suggest you have a cold beverage at home as well to steady the nerves. And okay, we'll talk about this replay. The magician Bertucci saves what could be a hit. He gets one. They really have to try for the double play there. But that little bit of a hesitation on Brody's part, great stretch by Langworthy. One of those things, folks, as the winning run in the form of Barr, the speedy Barr, comes around on the double play. On a knife edge there, if you're Victoria, you got to try. On one hand, you got to try for the double play because it gets you out of the inning. On the other hand, if you don't succeed, very good chance you're going to give up the winning run. There's no good answer there. Just do the best you can. Again, you just have to highlight what a heck of a play on the part of Bertucci, and quite frankly, a very difficult turn on the part of Brody, who's played fantastic defense, both of them all game and all tournament long. But a tip of the cap to the Western Australians. Again, it comes down to one run between these two teams. Ultimately in the 7th, one run on 2 hits. Winning run scores on a fielder's choice, not quite converted into a double play. The winning pitcher for WA is Dylan Palethorpe. You would think he'll be able to come back and pitch tomorrow if his pitch count has stayed low enough. Cooper Bishop Warren also should be able to come back and throw again, perhaps even this afternoon. So the stakes we have at hand now are, as you catch your breath over there in WA, it's only 11 o'clock. What a way to start the day, as your WA boys have successfully gone through to the grand final, as we say in Australia, the gold medal championship game of the Australian 2026 Under-18 National Championships. That'll be played tomorrow afternoon here at Cornish Field at the Essendon Baseball Club in beautiful Melbourne, Victoria. And as for the Victorians, after a very exciting game, another tough luck loss to the Western Australians, but they live to play another day. They have the opportunity now to come back to face the winner of the New South Wales South Australian game, happening next here on Baseball Plus, brought to you by Spacequake Sporting Productions. But they must win, and they must beat the winner of this next game to have one more chance at the Western Australians tomorrow, but that's far from a guarantee. And the boys from New South Wales and South Australia both also intend to have some say in the matter. We encourage you to stay tuned on Baseball Plus. Click on over to the next link, and we'll see you in just a few minutes after we all catch our breaths. I'm Robert Novotny. I've called this game for you by myself. Going to go have an aspirin, drink of water, and we'll see you on the flip side. Thanks for joining us here on Baseball Plus, brought to you by Spacequake.